Now,
So
do you ever use parts at all in your charts about missing
no,
people? You don't
I,
use parts?
I don't use parts at all. I tell you, in 2002, year 2002, I started a research group, and we had researchers from all over the world. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
I wrote a special software that could test anything in the sky that moves any astrologer, astrology techniques. And, you know, at that point there, we met every Tuesday night, and that went on till I had my sickness that set me back in 203. And we did all kinds of research on part of marriage, part of death, part of this,
Okay.
part of that. We never found them to work.
Okay. All
I
right.
mean,
What
I
about
mean,
asteroids or fixed stars? Is that ever relevant in the missing person chart?
no, I don't. In my practice, I never use the asteroid at all.
Mm-hmm.
I come from the old school. Remember, I went to astrology full time in 1965.
Wow. Yeah.
That's over 60 years ago. And I used to be in nuclear engineering before that,
Mm-hmm.
from 1958 to 1965. So research was my bag, you know.
Yeah. I've
And
seen your research. Phenomenal. I mean, well, which book would you say is the best one that you have available for people that want to do missing person charts or missing objects or horary? Which
which
book of
one?
yours? Yeah, which book of yours would be the best one then for that?
Well, lose this book. I got four books on horary, and a lot of them are based on. For 29 years, I wrote a monthly column in Dell Horoscope magazine for
I remember that.
29 years.
Yeah.
And so my best example, they were all real example because on an average, when I was doing, when, before 3 years ago, I was doing at least 8 to 9 horary question a week.
Mm-hmm.
So I took the best one and put it into my monthly column in Dell Horoscope. And three other books besides the Lose This book
Mm-hmm.
are based on articles that I had. Example, you know, I took just about everything that was asked to me, so I covered pretty well the whole thing.
Can
Uh,
we get
in,
reprints of those articles? Are they available now? Because I know the magazine isn't around anymore.
yeah, we still got books. Amazon sells them.
Oh, okay, good. Well, tell us, I mean, like, what do you think about the rules on horary that they talk about? Like, um, the ascendant has to be more than 2 degrees or, the common rules. What do you think about that?
Yeah. Well, the ascendant has to be more than 3 degrees and less than 27 degrees.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of rules in horary I don't use.
Okay,
The
why?
void of course moon, they say don't read the chart in the void of course moon. I sort of like to read them. It says that maybe you're off a little bit, or maybe things won't come out quite, but at least you can give some sort of guidance to the person. And
Mm-hmm.
they say Saturn in the seventh house. You can't read the chart because Saturn, the seventh house, rules the astrologer,
Mm-hmm.
and Saturn in there, they're not too smart. Well, I would rather have Saturn in the seventh house working for me than Neptune in the seventh house, you know?
Right there. It's
So,
funny you bring that up because when I was doing horary and I was sick in the hospital, I was always getting like Saturn and Neptune in the seventh because I wasn't feeling well. So it wasn't that the chart was bad. It was reflecting that I wasn't feeling too hot, you know?
Yeah. So I read the chart with Saturn on the ascendant. I mean on the descendant. I tell you, I also read a chart if if it's 29 to 26, 27, 28, 29 degrees on the ascendant. But I tell the client this may be in the past. All right.
Right,
Maybe that no matter what, this is what happened in the past. Can you connect with that? And if it's the first 3 degrees on the ascendant, then it may be that things didn't happen enough for the astrology to give the answer. But you know, I always warn my client, check deeper about this, about that,
right.
what the chart tells me. You know,
Mm-hmm.
and that will give you an answer. And when you know more about these things that you're asking about, because you can tell by the house involved, then call me back.
Okay, makes sense.
See,
What do I mean, tell us more about, if especially, missing persons. What are some of the guidelines that you've developed over all these years? What do you really go by, or your tips on these charts?
well, it's hard to say. You have to really look at the chart because a missing person, first of all, I look if they're dead or alive, and
And how
that's
do you
the eight
determine that?
from
The
what,
eighth house, right?
yeah, from where the quisitive is. The quisitive is the person you're asking about. The eighth house from whatever that is, that the quisitive, like this girl, the 10-year-old girl, she was dead. I
Right.
mean, I told her that right. I told the FBI right there, she's dead. All
Mm-hmm.
right. And I told them exactly where they had buried her. And
And you go by the directions in the chart of where the signifier is as to where the body is that
yeah,
right?
yeah,
Okay.
I used like I said, local space to do. And
What software do you use for that? Because which software would you say is the best for, when you need to get exact like that?
well, all my software are able to use local space, and we have
Okay.
13, 13 different software trading the market, and we have thousands of people all over the world using my market trader to trade the market and making money. And that's all I'm doing right now since I'm not doing astrology. I trade 2, 3 times a week, and I make quite a quite a bit of money with that.
Now, let me ask you, what would you think is a good chart for somebody to get involved in the stock market? Is there a chart that's better than others to do that? Do you
I
have to
didn't
have luck
quite.
in a, well, let's say, what's a good chart for somebody to start doing astrology in the stock market? What would you look for somebody that would do well at this?
Oh, it's a study by itself, because in our market trader, it comes in with 27 videos that teach you how to trade. You have to find the first trade chart, what they call the IPOs,
Yeah.
and work with that. And we have about like 10 different process that we can do what's going on with the thing. And if three out of 10, if 7 of them tell you buy it on this day and sell 3 days later or 4 days later, do it.
Oh, so your software, you're saying, can tell you irrespective of what the natal chart says. In other words, it can tell
Yeah.
you when to buy and sell. Doesn't matter what your natal is.
Well, not your natal chart. I don't use my natal chart at all when I trade. See,
Really?
the best thing, of course, you can. It tells you, you know, how well your natal chart fits with the buying and the selling. But
Mm-hmm.
the best thing that we have in the market trader software is that, let's see, you can download uh, open price for each day for any stock. So let's say a stock is 10 years old. You download 10 years of it. And
Okay.
then so you put it on a graph. And then the program goes to the first day of trading and it says, okay, the market went down here. So what was going on in the sky? Let's see that Mars square Saturn. So we give a negative point to that. And
Okay.
when it goes up, we give a positive point, and we keep going back and forth till, and we do curve fitting in the back. And when it works, we say, okay, project it ahead. And
Now, are
it's
you
sort of
using the
an
charts for the,
artificial intelligence.
are you using the charts for when they first form the corporation or using the chart for when they first do their first trade? Which charts do you use?
When the first trade,
First trade. Okay.
yeah.
All right. Now, the one thing that drives me crazy is like I have a Pisces fifth house. So I'm just and looking at my own chart, I figure, okay, I do well at oil. But then I go, well, there's like 100 oil companies. I mean, how can you use astrology, but also know like what to look for to invest in?
Investing, well, I have a a place that I tell people what to do, and you can screen a stock. You
Okay.
can screen it by the volume that it sells, DESC, the price. I usually screen them for stock for $5 to $10, and because that's what I want to trade, and you can come up with about 20 of them, and then those are the chart that I works with. Those are the stock that I work with.
Okay. Now don't you have like a group or a newsletter or software? I mean, if somebody wants to get more in the stock market and astrology, where do we start?
What in that little chart?
Well, in like if we wanted to get more information on what you're doing with the astrology and predicting the market, do you have like a site or a newsletter or software? I mean, where do we start?
Well, I have a on my website uh, a thing, you know, a 2 hour video there that you can watch and
Okay.
see if you know what we use and all stuff. And like I said, it comes up with tons of videos. So people that buy the software, even though they never traded before, they can go up there and start trading. I always tell people, okay, you're new to trading, trade on paper. In other words, do
Yeah.
your homework and say, I'm going to buy it today. This is how much it cost me. If I sell it 2 days from now, how much money would I make?
Now, have you looked in general? Because a lot of astrologers are predicting we're going to have some huge crash coming. What do you think about what they're saying?
Well, I know that next week is going to be a crazy, you know, all over the world, not only in the stock market, but there's a couple of Mercury, Saturn brings a lot of down, a lot of really low in the market, and Saturn, Mars, Saturn, because next week you're going to have Mercury that's going to conjunct Neptune, Mars,
Right.
and Saturn. And
Yeah.
then Mars is going to conjunct Saturn and Neptune.
Yeah.
So, so next week I won't trade.
It's that bad. Okay. All right.
Yeah.